Welcome everyone to Tasker Arena. Time for Hobbs Eagle basketball. Live on the radio at Cool 95.7, on the internet at HobbsAmerica.com, the YouTube Hobbs Sports page, and the Cool 95.7 Facebook page. Together again, Ty Friend, Ron Gunner. First game of the basketball season. Kind of weird to say that because usually we have to wait for football to get over, and usually the last couple of seasons been over about a week before basketball gets underway. But tonight, Hobbs Eagle Hoops is on the court, and they'll start their season against Brownfield, a team they played last year early as well. But Hobbs is going to be missing about 3 or 4 players from the football team. We'll talk about them later, but they will definitely not be here because tomorrow, the first semifinal football game in 41 years. Of course, the Hobbs Eagles playing in the semifinals against the Cleveland Storm, number 2 team in the state. We'll talk about that later, too. But basketball is where it's at tonight here at Tasker. Hobbs against Brownfield. The Cubs come in 0-2. They played 2 games in Texas, but the Eagles' first game, so they're going to have to try to get the chemistry going a little bit, work off the rust, and they got a bunch of new players. Only about 3 or 4 have had time from last year. The rest, a brand-new squad, at least bring-ups from the JV.
Exactly, and you know, we love the fact that we play Brownsville. This is the 3rd year in a row we played them, the 2nd year in a row we played them here in Hobbs. They come out here, and they're not a strong team. They don't finish strong, but they start out very strong, and they kind of confuse Hobbs a little bit. They did last year. I think this year is going to be a similar situation. The first couple of minutes are going to be each team trying to find their footing, especially since this is the first game for Hobbs and this is their 3rd game for Brownfield. Brownfield has been playing some tough teams. Lubbock was one of them, and couldn't pull up the win on that one either. So 0-2, Brownfield coming in here hoping to get a victory, at least play well, and I think they will against this Hobbs team. They had a great record last year, and I think this year they're going to put a little pressure on Hobbs. We don't know how long it's going to last.
Of course, some big shoes to fill for the Hobbs Eagles. Abraham Pena, who averaged 17.4 points last year. He led the team with over 50 three-pointers and 83% free throw shooting. He is a graduate. He will not be on the squad this year. That's the biggest shoes to fill. But also, speaking of tall shoes and tall body, Parker Henderson, who's at Army at West Point in New York. He is averaged 9.5 last year and had 7.1 rebounds a game. Of course, 7 foot tall. And I know I talked to his mom a few days ago. Since the summer has started with basketball training and all that, he has had a broken nose and a concussion. He's not playing on the varsity right now for the Army, but they're working him into games at the lower level there at West Point, so hopefully he'll get to move up to the varsity status as soon as he gets completely healed and overall the thumping is taken at the one of the academies. And last but not least, Jairus Turbiatis. He was averaging close to 11 points last year a game and 8.5 rebounds. He had a lot of double-doubles for Hobbs. He's going to run track back in Kansas at a junior college. So those are the 3 big scorers for the Eagles that have left. A whole handful of other guys that graduated as well. But those are the 3 key positions Hobbs is going to have to deal with, especially when it comes to rebounding, when you have Henderson and Turbiatis cleaning up the boards for you last year.
And I think Ronald Ross knows that. He also knows that he wants not just 1, not even 2, not 3. He wants his whole team to be able to play, whether it be offense, defense, just like he used to do when he was a kid. And when he got into Texas Tech, was able to learn defense, even though he was an offensive kid, and he learned both sides by the end of his Texas Tech career.
Last year, the Eagles went 26-5, 6-1 in district. Their lone loss in the conference district was Roswell by 10, 79-69, but that was on the road. They beat them at home here at Tasker Arena. Eagles went 3 deep into the playoffs to the semifinals, picked off Las Cruces by 9, beat Cleveland in a rubber match. That was the 3rd time they played them last season, beat them by 13, and lost to Sandia in the semifinals, 74-39. So pretty decent finish to the season for Hobbs up there at the pit in Albuquerque. Again, 26-5. Now, the guys that return from the squad, definitely a real good point guard, Lyric Soria. Of course, his dad used to play for the Hobbs Eagles, coached over in Arizona, and Lyric is back. He's averaging 4.4 points from last year. He was 2nd on the team with 28 trays, which is a nice thing to have out there, shooter from the outside. He can also slash and take it to the rack, too, so great to have Soria back in uniform. Josiah Clay returns from last year, kind of a scrappy little guard as well. He can go after the basketball, play some defense for you. That'll be a good return. Darius Lowe had limited time last season, another good slasher type, and a good body to have in the game for you. Also on the roster that saw some JV time, quite substantial time last year, actually varsity time, but then got injured early, was Malachi David. He's a very good rebounder for the Eagles. Went down about 3rd or 4th game of the season, was injured, so we'll have to wait and see that if that will transpire that he can get better and better as the season goes along. The guy I was going to say before that, Jalen Sanders, who was the assistant coach's son, also the JV coach, he's one of those guys that will go to the rack quite a bit of the time. He wants to take it to the hole against you. Sometimes he gets caught in traffic, but he can dish it out too, so we're anxious to see how that works. So lots of different guys will be out there. There's a whole list of people who have been untested on the varsity level. Josiah Morales, Hendrick Sullivan, Aiden Cerna, Jeremiah Torres, Darius Proby, Jaden Perez, and Israel Rodriguez. So all those guys are new to the varsity team, and it's kind of tough to get that chemistry going early. Now, some guys that could return once football is done. Braddock Beatty was a starter last year. He was averaging close to 5 points a game. Amron Wheeler, kind of a tough kid underneath. He's also plays defensive end in football, so he can have some physicality for you.
Exactly.
And then Javen Hernandez, who's a relative of Amron's, tall kid, plays safety in football, got some size for rebounding. So those three guys will be added, maybe a potential for a few more. But again, we won't have them for this game and maybe a couple games, depending on how the Eagles do in football tomorrow in the semifinals. But lots of shoes to fill in this situation this year.
Yeah, and again, you really want to have that. Coach Ronald Ross is not seeing a bad thing. He's seeing a good thing. He's seeing players that won't get time later on in their high school season so far as be able to put in the good ones. But you want to put in everybody and be able to have that same result no matter who it is. You want to have those same results and get scoring or some defense, because Hobbs goes on the press. We already know that already. You're going to see if they're going to do that this season as well. I think they're going to press it a little bit, not as much as they used to in the past, but I expect to see them pressing early on.
Looking at this game last year, the Eagles won 74-53 despite only shooting 39% from the field. They hit 5 trays. They were actually down 7-1 early in that game. You kind of alluded to that a few minutes ago, but ended up scoring 25-7 for that first quarter. So they were ahead by a big margin at the end of one. At the half, up by 19, 39-20, then pretty much coasted the second half for the victory. Some good pressure defense for the team. They caused 13 steals against this Brownfield squad, and also out-rebounded that team 52-33 by 19 boards. Of course, when you got somebody like Henderson, and we mentioned already Turbiatas, a couple other guys in there, you're really going to own the glass there.
Exactly.
Hobbs had way too many fouls, 29 total, just 13 for Brownfield, so that had to be cleaned up, and they did get that going a little bit better. Brownfield had some horrible time shooting, 11 of 31 from the free throw line, which really hurt their cause on the scoreboard. So Eagles again winning by 21. Top scores in that game, Payne had 14, Parker Henderson 10, and Trey Hutchings with 10 as well. So those three combined for 34 of the Hobbs 74 points. Jairus Turbiatas had 12 rebounds in the game. But the guys that returned from last year's team got some spot time in there, including starter Braddock Beatty. He had 1 bucket for 2. Amron Wheeler, who's not playing tonight, had 2. And Javen Hernandez, 2. So all 3 of those guys in football, they're not going to be on the court tonight. Nobody else on the floor tonight had any scoring for that squad in last year's game. From last year's team for this Brownfield squad, they have had a real good guard, a senior guard, Jerron Lawrence. He had a double-double against Hobbs last year, 28 points, 11 rebounds, 8 from 16 on the free throw line. He is back on the team. Last year he averaged 25 points for the season. 35% from three-point range, which is deadly. He was all-district, all-state team as well, and averaged 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals a contest. So Jerron Lawrence is the target the Eagles got to play against and make sure they got him defended up because he is deadly. One other guy from last year's team that's back, Braylon Bryn, only scored 1 point, so he's not much of a threat last year, but we'll see how he's improved this year, but he is back. So 2 players returned from their squad last year that the Eagles beat by 21.
Yeah, and I love the fact that the Cubs come out here strong. They are Texas built, and they play well in the basketball. So I expect to see at least a good first half, maybe even a second half too. They can come along. Last year, like you said, they played well. The second half, it was back and forth, even squads before they ended up winning that game by big.
Brownfield 0-2, as you mentioned earlier. A loss to Trinity Christian, one of the toughest private schools in Texas, 78-54 in that game. Trinity hit 7 3-pointers, so maybe the Eagles can stroke it from the outside as well. They had 2 guys over 20 points in that ball game. And then you mentioned Lubbock Estacado. They lost to them 70-44. And they really gave up some big points as well in that contest. Shakur Wilbon had 19 points in the game. He was an all-state team player for Estacado, so he really lit them up in that contest. And again, they lose by 26 in that one. So 0-2. Of course, they have 2 games under their belt already versus what the Hobbs Eagles have starting off the season. Last year, they were great, though. They finished off with a 25-9 record, 12-0 in district, and 2 rounds into the playoffs for Brownfield. We're getting ready for the national anthem and the starting lineups here at Tasker. Your Hobbs Eagles going to start the season against Brownfield. Stay with us. We'll be back in 2.5 minutes live on the Hobbs Eagle Network. We're back live at Task Arena. Ty friend Ron Gunner with you tonight as your Hobbs Eagles open up the basketball season against Brownfield out of Texas, right short of Lubbock. Of course, first game of the season for the Eagles, third game for Brownfield, who comes in at 0-2. And kind of the same situation last year. You mentioned this earlier, too. I mean, this has been a start for the season with a couple in a row now for the Hobbs Eagles. And always tough when you get in the playoffs for football to get guys back onto the roster that you need to have. But again, Coach, some of these players might not be on the court in a varsity capacity. Might move back to JV, kind of just sees how the chemistry's going. He could add a few more. The starters tonight, though, for the Hobbs Eagles, Malachi David, Lyric Soria, those two guys have experience from last year. So does Josiah Clay at the guard position. Jalen Sanders seeing his first start as a varsity player, played a lot of JV last year. And Adarius Proby is a new addition to the varsity lineup. So those are the five for the Hobbs Eagles. Brownfield Cubs have Javion Gustafson, Candian Cantrell, Braylon Bruno, also Trey Timmons, Jerron Lawrence, who's their big-time scorer. They're going to have to watch him carefully. And also another guy to see how big time is Braden Davis for this squad. Brownfield wearing the red uniforms, black trim, and also the black undershirts with white numbers. And your Hobbs Eagles have the home white jerseys with the gold numbers and the black trim. And that's the way it's set up for this game here at Tasker Arena. And, of course, the Eagles will have a game tomorrow, too, and you'll be doing a doubleheader. I'll be at football. You'll be doing basketball. So I guess we'll be overlapping on the airwaves and stuff. But should be an exciting game, hopefully, for the Eagles in football. But a lot of games to start the season quickly for the Eagles, again, without some players on the roster.
Yeah, and, it's a first-world problem to have your players that are playing for football as well. They left today for the Cleveland game tomorrow. Hopefully they'll survive the storm. It would be great to see them in another game next week against probably Las Cruces or maybe even La Cueva. Either way, it's going to be interesting to see. But tonight we got basketball.
And I think it's kind of tough to start at home, too, because you want to impress the crowd. Sometimes you do a little bit too much, maybe drive a little bit too much and lose the ball in traffic and things like that. The press, I'm not sure if Coach Ross is going to go with the traditional press where everybody's pushing up or whether they do some trap pressure. We've seen that over the several years as well. So, again, this is the first game to kind of see what they got to add here, see the new guys that are to get some time after playing JV last year, and some about 3 players that had some experience from last year whether they can add on what their experience was on the JV squad.
Exactly, where there's cobwebs, rust, and nerves. If you get rid of those 3 real quickly, you get a good game. Otherwise, the first quarter is going to be a little short and a little bit iffy.
Yeah, we'll wait to see how that transpires. And, of course, we will have this one for you through the duration on HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube on the Hobbs Sports page, the Cool 95.7 Facebook page, and on the radio at Cool 95.7. In case you were wondering, the Hobbs Eagle coaching staff, Frankie Size, a brand new member of that squad. He was on the girls squad last year, moved to the boys this year. Of course, head coach Ronald Ross. Josh Sanders, former player. His son plays as a starter for the varsity. Also, Mark Teal, who returns. He was a volunteer coach several years ago, went to Lovington, went to Gallup, and went up north as well. So he's back helping out the squad. Melvin Anders, been around for a while, coaching freshmen and doing some other different coaching staffs around this district. He's back with the varsity staff as an assistant. And guess who's back as well? Coach Shelby Reeves.
Exactly.
Yep, he went down to the Philippines, and his wife's down there. They're both back in Hobbs. Decided to come back and move for a while to Hobbs again. And will be on the bench for some varsity, but he's also a freshman coach, so nice to have some tradition and people that know what Tasker Arena is all about.
Yeah, last year he was talking about a Houston residence. This year it's all about Hobbs, and Hobbs is going to benefit from it all the way.
Look at the size of Malachi David. He'll jump up against Lawrence, and an easy tip to the backcourt, so Hobbs still got a big man to work with. Gives out to Lyric Soria in the front side now. He'll dribble left with a bounce pass to the left wing to Proby. Proby will hand off on the far left as he gives it off to the coach's son, Sanders. Back to the right wing to Clay. Clay with the jab step to Soria right corner. Returns to Clay up top to move the 3-2 zone. Back over to Soria right wing. Return deep to reset to Clay. Dribbles to the top of the arc and backs out. He'll come to the left side with a handoff to Sanders. Back to get the ball is David, top of the circle. Slings over to the left wing to Clay. With a jab step, trying to get a screen for him is Sanders.
And we don't have – the clock has not moved at all.
Yeah, we had the clock stopped in the second half of the JV game, and it took them a while. I don't think it was a technical issue. I don't think somebody didn't push the button. I know the scorer's table is some people smiling over there. And the 2 of the officials going to the table to get this set down to 7:30. So they got that exactly right. Watching the clock for 30 seconds, but we'll take it. It'll be Hobbs basketball in the front court. Still no score in the ball game. Eagles' first possession. Inbound to Clay. He'll hand it back behind him to Soria. Stop and go. Coming up to get it, top of the circle, Sanders. Hand it off top of the arc to Clay. Comes to the right side. Stop and go dribble. Gets bumped going to the right block. Had 3 defenders coming up on top of him there. Kind of leaned into him to draw the foul, and we'll get the foul call. They're going to say he was on the ground, though, so no shooting a situation. And that'll be Trey Timmons to get the foul, the first team foul against the Cubs. Trying to get it inbound from the right baseline, and finally doing so. Touch pass to Soria. Shot for Clay on the right block over the rim. No good. Put back over the front of the iron. And the first bucket of the season as Darius Proby puts it through. First rebound and bucket. 2-0 Eagles. 7 minutes left first half. Quickly to front court. Pass to the right wing. Fadeaway jumper from 18 for Fields off the back of the rim. Underneath the hoop waiting for it. Malachi David. Like to see that wide body underneath. He's going to dribble it across the timeline as the big man. As he hands it off to his guard, Soria. Dribbling through his legs in front of the Hobbs Eagle logo in the front court. Eagles up by 2. Pass to the left elbow, pivot for David, facing his defender. Puts it up top to Proby. Proby at the jab step, dribble left hand, give it off to Surrey on the left wing. Gets a double team, gets away from it. Kick it back to the left side to the elbow, dribble with Proby. Proby pivots against 3 defenders. Over to David on the left wing. Slings it down in the lane, but it's picked off. Right in the hands of Bruno for the Eagles' first turnover. Bruno in the front court, gets it slapped out of his hands by Clay. Picked up on the left wing by Cantrell. Return up top to Bruno. To the far right sideline in front of the scores table to Lawrence. He was their top scorer from last year. He had to go one-on-one against Soria. Slings it to the right wing. Timmons for a tray off the front of the iron, no good. Ripped down rebound in front of the hoop by Clay, and he's quickly hammered. Eagles getting off the floor on those rebounds, Ron.
Exactly, they are. Some of the things that they needed to work on, one of them was going to be their rebounds. Another one was their fast break points. They haven't done that yet, but the rebounds are getting better and better with it each shot.
We mentioned in the pregame show how many fouls Eagles had last year, 29 versus 13 for Brownfield. Right now, 2-0. The Cubs have the 2 fouls. Into the front court is Soria. Eagles up 2-0. Unloads to the left wing to Sanders. Drives the left baseline. Pivots. Slings it high up top to Soria. Touch pass to the right wing to Clay. Clay with a jab step. Crossover move. Throws up a 3. Is rejected. Lawrence hit the ball right in the leather, but then kind of slid to his left hand of the shooter, Clay, to get the foul. That should be a 3-shot foul as well, and already 3 fouls against the Cubs.
And they are indicating that it is a 3-shot free throw on this one due to the fact that he was outside the arc.
Of course, Josiah Clay returning from last year. He'll get the first free throws of the ball game and of the season for the Eagles. He takes 2 dribbles and reverse spin on the basketball. First shot is up, bouncing around the rim and good. So
Shooter's touch on that one.
Eagles are 100% from the free throw line.
I know. Let's hope they stay with that one. I don't think they will, but they would love to.
So score now 3-0 with 5:49 remaining here in the first quarter. Eagles here at home at Tasker. Second shot is up, and it is good as well. He'll get one more. Hobbs extending their lead to 4-0 here. And a doubleheader tomorrow. Big game with the Lady Eagles, too. Hobbs taking on Sandia. That team is always going towards the championship. So are the Hobbs Lady Eagles, for that matter. It'll be an exciting one for you, along with the boys' game.
Exactly, and the Hobbs Lady Eagles never back down from a challenge.
All 3 free throws good for Josiah Clay, and the Eagles blanking Brownfield 5-0. We got a screen in the backcourt, and in the paint, looks like they take out Canyon Cantrell, completely flatten him that time with the screen. They call the foul on Darius Proby. That's his first, just the first team foul against the Eagles, but very aggressive screen on the full court pressure. Not a screen, he ran over his man. Red team would be doing the screening on the offense.
Right.
Still full court pressures. They throw a hard one to the far right sideline, picked up and dribbled by Fields in the front court. Puts on the brakes on the right wing, dumps it to Timmons, right baseline. Dribbles behind his back, fade away from the right block, air ball underneath the hoop, waiting with the shovel to pull it out is Malachi David, his second board. Pass up to corner, Sanders right corner. Click it over to left side. 3 on the way for Clay off the back of the rim high. Chased down to the left wing by Soria. Soria gets a double team. Falls to the floor. Bounce pass. It goes out of bounds. They're going to say touched by the Cubs on that far left sideline. Right in front of the official. Diving for it was Canyon Cantrell. Good effort. He slid his body on the hardwood that time, but it's still Hobbs Eagle basketball near the scorer's table.
Yeah, Cantrell had it in the going out of bounds and just stepped out before he could throw the ball.
Soria has it in the front court, gives it off to the right wing to Sanders, fakes a 3, kicks it up top to David, fall away 3 and good. The big man can hit the tray. Eagles up 8-0 over Brownfield before he can blink an eye. 5 minutes left first quarter. At the other end, long pass to Bruno left corner, and he answers with his first tray of this game. It's now 8-3. Here come the Eagles up by 5. Stop and go dribble in the front court, through his legs, Soria. Bounce pass is kicked by the defender left of the lane, and putting a foot on it was Bruno. The official gets the violation call there, but the Eagles doing a good job of looking for break pressure there and making sure people are getting open before they unload the basketball.
Yep, feeling it out, trying to see who's open and what they can do.
Inbound is Soria. Will get the ball near half court. Taking his time. Bounce pass to the left wing. Now on the pivot. Back up top to David. David tries to slice it through the lane with a hard zinger and goes way behind his teammate underneath the hoop, Proby, for a turnover. That's the second one. And Hobbs throwing some real hard passes, and unfortunately that one had no connect.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you got to drill it in, and sometimes your aim is off.
Coming across the timeline, coming down the lane, left side is Timmons. Kick left corner, Bruno. He hits another tray, back-to-back. Got to get a hand in his face. He's got both buckets for 6 total, 2 trays, and 8-6 Eagles. They've come back quickly, have the Cubs. In the front court is Soria, slowing it down. Little match-up now on the defense. They were in a zone. Might be a matchup zone here. Unload to the left wing. Passed it off to Proby, kick it back up top to David. To the left side, pass to Clay for a tray, and he puts it through. Nice follow through. He's got 6, 3 free throws and a tray. 11-6 Eagles. At the other end, 18-footer from the right side for Fields. This one hits off the left rim and goes out of bounds. Hobbs got a 5-point lead now with 3:57 left, first quarter. How do you like the pace so far?
I liked it, although that last possession, Hobbs was a little flat-footed on their defense. They got lucky enough that he was able to miss that shot, and Hobbs was able to get back into defense, but they need to work on the defense and get back to the other side.
Hendrick Sullivan checking in for the Eagles, first sub of the season. Pass into the free throw line, high post to David, got a double team against him, puts it up top to Clay, gets his 3-shot blocked, picks it back up and throws up a shot anyway off the back of the rim. It's fumbled underneath the hoop by the Cubs. That was John Fields. They're going to say somebody must have touched it, possibly Jalen Sanders from behind. His back kind of punched the ball. They will give it back to the Cubs in their backcourt. Another Hobbs Eagles sub coming on the court here. And we'll see who that is for the Eagles. Checking in is Jadarius Lowe. Half-court inbounder to the far right to Fields. Kicks it down right corner to that three-point shooter, Bruno. This one off the right side of the rim, no good. Lowe at the rebound from the left baseline. Goes it ahead to a breaking Sullivan. Right corner, Jackson, 3 over the rim, no good. Far right rebound for Lawrence. In transition on the dribble. Puts on the brakes. Gives it off to the right wing to Fields. Drives the lane with the runner. And we got a Cub falling to the floor here underneath the hoop. Got a whistle on it. And the official, waiting to see what he called on this, was going to go against the Cubs. They're going to call the legal screen running over a Hobbs Eagle. That was Canyon Cantrell. Already his second personal, 4-team foul, 4-1 foul differential in favor of the Eagles. As the Cubs got to go to their bench and bring in Javian Gustafson, his first action on the court for the red and black.
And one more will put Hobbs in the foul bonus.
Yeah, we're in that second season of the 5 fouls as a double bonus for your squad. And they go back to 0 in the next quarter. Eagles quickly in the front court, pass to Soria, puts up a 3 off the right rim, no good. Pulled down by Lowe in the middle of the paint, his second rebound. Up top to the big man, David, his tray off the back of the rim. Little hook shot on the reverse, on the rebound by Lowe, no good. Pulled down underneath by the Cubs by Braylon Brulo, the three-point shooter. Gives it off to Lawrence. He should be a top scorer, but yet to put one in the hole for the Cubs. Comes into the front court, handoff on the right wing to Fields. Slings it over to the left side to Timmons. Stop and go. Spinning at the left block, but he drags his pivot foot. Good defense from behind there by Lowe to cause the travel and the first Brownfield turnover.
And you were expecting more of those from Brownfield by this point of the game, but Hobbs still hanging on to that and being able to pressure Brownfield into some plays they don't want to do.
2:30 left first quarter. Eagles up 11-6. Into the front court comes Soria, setting up the play, very patient on the O. Lowe will come over to get the pass, bouncer to the left wing. Kicks it down left corner to David. David very versatile for a big man. He turns and fires a 3 off the left rim. Chased down the far right sideline by Fields, his first rebound. Gives it off to Lawrence, far right in front of the scorer's table, and slows it across the timeline as he dribbles against Lowe. Lowe coming out on him at the D. Stop and go, dribbling behind his back, top of the arc, Lawrence. No look pass to the left corner. They're going to call a hold foul on the pass that time against the Eagles. One of the subs trying to run on the court. They had to pull him back for a second for Hobbs. They're going to call that foul on the hold by Jadarius Lowe, who's been playing some aggressive defense, though. Only the second team foul. And it will be Brownfield basketball. 2:01 left, first quarter, 11-6. Inbound to Lawrence at the timeline. He slides left to right on the dribble, guarded by Lowe. To the right wing, screen up top from Timmons. Dribbles behind his back to the left wing, stop and go, crossover. Runs to the hoop with a scoop and scores. He leaped in the air that time. First bucket for Jaron Lawrence. It's now 11-8. Here come the Eagles quickly. It's Clay in the front court. Stop and go himself. Crosses it over. Down the lane. Goes to the reverse layup with a scoop on the left side and scores. Beautiful move. Going through the lane on the slice on there by 8 points for Clay. Hobbs by 5 with 1.5 left first.
Made that righty hook look easy.
13-8 Eagles, front court, stop and go for Fields. Coming back to get it to help is Timmons at the timeline. At the other end, though, timeout for the Brownfield Cubs. 1:21 left first quarter. Hobbs up over the Brownfield, 13-8. We'll come back in 30 seconds live on HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and Cool 95.7 on the radio. Things looking pretty good for the Hobbs Eagles in their first game of the season. They're 3 for 3 on the free throw line thanks to Josiah Clay. He also hit a tray. Malachi David, the big man, hit a tray, and Eagles up 13-8. Good way to start here at Tasker Arena.
Exactly, and especially with not all your players here because they're on the road right now for tomorrow's game. You got to play great, and they know you got to win even without all those key players.
Yep, we're talking about the Hobbs Eagles semifinal football game tomorrow against Cleveland. It's going to be Brownfield ball. Timmons gets the pass, drives the right lane, lost it coming down the pike, and it'll go out on the baseline. They're going to call the foul hacked by the Eagles, getting a piece of the hand there with Josiah Clay. His first personal, third team foul, 4-3 foul count in favor of Hobbs, down 1 on that category. Wow, they call that a shooting foul. Looked like he just lost the dribble on that after the foul, but 2 free throws. I think Coach Ross had a word for the official on that one. But regardless, on the line, it'll be Trey Timmons. First free throw of the night for the Brownfield Cubs, who trail by 5. On the first free throw here, good.
Yeah, it's not the fact that you get called to the cherry stripe. It's what you do with it. That time he was able to hit it, bring it down to a 4-point lead for the Eagles.
1:12 left here in the first. 3 dribbles, and the shot is good. Both of them for Timmons. He's got 2. They've had 3 scores so far. It's 13-10. Hobbs by 3. Moving back to the point guard position, Jadarius Lowe. He's in the front court. Gives it off to the left wing. New sub in there, Josiah Morales. Hand off to Clay. He'll drive the left baseline. 1-2 and up. Gets his rejected on top of the rim. He pulls it down, though. Spins to the right baseline. Fadeaway jumper from 15 and puts it through. He's on fire. He has got a total now of 10 points, 2 rebounds. Great job of coming back after the block on his shot. Eagles by 5. 40 seconds left in the quarter. Driving the lane with a scoop shot, missing off the left rim is Lawrence. Rebound from Lowe. It's 4th board of the ball game. Bounce pass right corner. Josiah Morales for 3 off the back of the rim. Rebound on the free throw line. Hand off to Clay. He gets tripped coming down the pike and is fouled. They call the foul against the Cubs. That rebound by Isael Rodriguez. Knew I was going to fumble that one. That's his first of the ball game. And they call the foul against the Cubs. Braylon Bruno, his first, 15 foul. So back to the line goes Clay, who's perfect, 3 for 3, and has 10 points. And he misses out the front of the rim. Should have kept my mouth shut, Ron.
You know, it happens whether we like it or not. They do miss from time to time. We just hope that they get about a 90% for the game.
One more shot attempt here for Clay. Trying to extend the lead to 6 on the made free throw, and it's good. He is 4 for 5 on the line and has 11 points for the Eagles. They lead by 6, 23 seconds left in the quarter. Pass deep to the right corner, 3 on the way, off the back of the rim for Fields. Long rebound, and Josiah Morales gets it stripped from behind. That's going to be the second Eagle turnover. At the free throw line, falling to the floor is Lawrence, trying to pass down low, stripped away and bounced up in the air. Bodies flying everywhere near the free throw line. Not sure who finally got it. Jump ball is called. Nobody got the possession. It looked like it was going to be a turnover for Brownfield, but going to the floor for the Hobbs Eagles was Isael Rodriguez, and for Brownfield, John Fields. Keep wanting to say Roswell. That's what their uniforms look like down there.
Exactly. I know. I understand. I've been several times. It's like, I remember that color, and yet that is not the team I'm calling.
Proby's going to check back in for the Eagles. Darius on the court. And it'll be Cubs basketball left baseline. Inbound to the left corner to Timmons. Slings it back left side again to Fields. Back to left wing to Lawrence. Crossover move. Fires up a 3 on the fadeaway at the buzzer off the left rim. No good. Good hand in the face that time by Jadarius Lowe. I like his defense, and I like those 4 rebounds that Lowe has had so far, but 11 points for Josiah Clay as well.
Exactly. We need scorers. We need rebounders. We need all those people to step up, and they are doing it so far. The first quarter, though, low scoring, but we're going to see more in the second and beyond.
At the end of 1, Hobbs 16, Brownfield 10, back in 30 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network.
It is the end of the first quarter. The Eagles are up over the Brownfield Cubs, 16-10, and we're looking to see what the intensity is going to be, if it's going to be brought up by both teams. But either way, the call is from Ty Friend.
Josiah Clay leading the Eagles with 11 points. He's 4 of 5 from the charity stripe, has a tray. Malachi David hit a tray for 3 points, and Adarius Proby with a bucket for 2. So 3 scores so far for the Eagles. Also to mention, Jadarius Lowe has 4 rebounds for the Eagles' cause. Hobbs with 3 turnovers in the first quarter. The Brownfield Cubs, 6 points for Braylon Bruno, both on trays in the left corner. Trey Timmons got 2 for 2 free throw shooting, and Jaron Lawrence, 2 points. Now, he'd averaged 25 points last season, was on the all-state team in Texas. Hobbs did a pretty good job of keeping him not doing too much scoring in this first quarter of action.
So far, so good. You know, those Texas teams, they shoot big, and that's why they're defending the perimeter.
Hobbs basketball to start the second, 16-10, leading by 6. Pass over to left wing to Sanders. Dumps it low. Going up big off the left glass. Missing a tip shot as David tries to go back up. Misses again. A save on the left baseline. Good job to bring it back down for Proby to the half court. Sanders with a pass to the right. Gets it tipped in the air. And near the right sideline to get a hand on it was Jaron Lawrence. So will be Hobbs basketball. They got a bunch of guys kind of back on that half-court line, got confusion and some almost a head-on collision there.
Exactly. You wonder exactly what they're thinking about or where they're seeing the ball.
Dribbling to the right side, Soria with the bounce pass. Spin move for Sanders, backs it out. Kicks it off to the left wing to Proby. Proby dribbles left, give off to Clay outside the arc. Stop and go. Crossover his left hand, hippity hop. Give to the left baseline to Proby. Goes up double clutch on the left side of the rim on the block. And there's a whistle underneath. They're going to call rebounding foul, I believe, on the Eagles that time. He might have barreled into his defender before he got the board. Yep, they call that on Proby. That'll be his second. And the first team foul here in the second quarter as we reset the foul totals.
Yeah, it was just an offensive charge on that one, looked like, and definitely did not want to see that again.
Trey Timmons down with the dribble, far right side as he takes on Sanders in front of the scores table. Crossover to the top of the arc, left side of the lane, scoop shot with his right hand, no good. Underneath the hoop is Malachi David, his 4th rebound. Throws it up ahead on the near side. It's loose, picked up by Clay. Drives the middle of the paint. Reverse layup, scoop rejected. Got blocked on first for the foul on the hip. Javian Gustafson. His shot was swatted to the baseline by Jaron Lawrence, but I think they got Gustafson with that big knee into his side there first. They will call that on Gustafson, his first. And the first team foul here in the second quarter.
Hobbs driving the lane, being aggressive, trying to get those fouls.
Inbound to Clay on the left block. Back out to the left wing for 3 for Sanders off the back of the rim. Ripping it down underneath is Lawrence, his second rebound for the Cubs. Into the front court. Fakes a 3 on the left. Crossover move. Backs it out. Kick it down left corner to Bruno. Fires a 3. He's deadly from that left corner. His 3rd tray of the ball game. Got to get out on him quickly. He's got 9 points.
Exactly, and they tried to get a hand on him, but it was way too late, and he was able to lay up that 3.
Clay in the front court. Unloads left wing to Soria. Stop and go. Spin to the left corner. Kicks it back to Clay on the left wing in front of the scorer's table. Cross court right to Sanders. Dump it to the right base of the big man David. Fade away 2 from 15 off the back of the rim. Save on the left block. And it's back to the Eagles, though. 3 on the way from the left side off the rim is Proby. Rebound underneath by Sanders. Kicks it out left corner and a tray for Lyric Soria. His first bucket of the ball game is a tray. Hobbs has converted 3 3-pointers, 19-13, again by 6. Their biggest lead of the game, matched more than once this half. Into the front court, right side is Fields. Kick it up top to Lawrence, fade away 3 and puts it through as his butt hits the floor. Should have got a flop call there, but didn't get it. 5 points for Lawrence. 19-16, Eagles by 3 in the front court. Stop and go, Soria, double team. Unloads right wing to Proby. Up top to the big man, David. Flick it back behind him to Soria for a 3-pointer. He was way behind the line on the right side. Back-to-back trays for Soria. He's got 6, and the Eagles back by 6. 22-16. In the front court, Lawrence, left wing. Dump it down left corner to Bruno for 3. This time off the back of the rim, luckily. Rebound underneath by Clay, his 3rd board. Dribbles into the front court, driving the near sideline, and Lawrence throws a body at him and picks up his second foul, second team foul for the Cubs here in the second.
Hobbs got a little lucky on that one. He was well out of control and could not get the ball back, was able to get that foul before he caused any problems of his own.
5:22 left, second quarter. Eagles by 6, 22-16. On the near sideline to inbound is Josiah Clay to the backcourt. Coming across the timeline is Soria on the dribble. Guarded up top by Timmons. Unloads left wing to Proby. Coming to get the ball is Clay on the left wing. Dribbles up top. Sends it over to Sanders right side. Jab step. Returns to Clay top of the circle. Extended 2-3 zone now for the Cubs. They move back into it the way they started the game. Kind of dropping off a little bit though. Clay dribbling right. Kicks it down to Sanders right corner. Lefty dribble. Returns up top to Clay. Posting up big, getting the ball underneath is David. Goes up on 2 defenders, but gets swatted from behind. Using his size, but not really jumping as much as he should probably to put that thing over the rim. But he will get it back. The Eagles will have it on the right baseline after the swat.
And familiarity is what we need to see more of. Once he gets familiar with it, he will be able to do that with more efficiency.
Soria will return it up top to David. Hand off to behind to Soria. Fadeaway 3 again. This one off the back of the rim. Jumping high on the left rim is Lawrence to pull it down for his 3rd board. Throws it across the top into Timmons' right wing to the corner. Uses up his dribble. Stripped away by Clay. He saves it back to the Cubs on the right block to Timmons. Fadeaway in the paint, middle of the paint for the 2. A bucket for Timmons. He's got 4. 22-18. Eagles by 4 with 4.5 left, second quarter. Slowing it down now is Soria. Comes across the timeline and top of the logo of the Eagle. To the right wing. Handoff to Sanders. Dribbles up top. Turns and faces his offense. Gets it knocked out of his hands momentarily by Timmons. Picks it up. Bounce pass in the paint to Soria. Spins. Fadeaway jumper in front of the free throw line and rambles it through for 2. Soria with 8 points all coming in the second quarter. 24-18, matching that 6-point lead again. Over and over, we get back to 6.
Exactly, we do. And you're also seeing some nice little shots. They may be their go-to shots for these Eagles, as a couple of them have hit just outside to be able to get those in the paint.
They call a push foul in the backcourt by Jalen Sanders. That'll be his first, second team foul. Both teams have 2 fouls apiece here before halftime. 4 minutes left in the second. Eagles by 6. Into the front court, Lawrence, stop and go, gets a screen in the right wing by Valderas. Drives the left block, puts on the brakes, kick it left corner to Bruno, the three-point shooter. Another miss out the back of the rim. He's missed 2 in a row. After hitting his first 3 trays of the game, it goes out of bounds. It will be Hobbs basketball.
And that's what happens sometimes. You live and die by the 3. This time around, he's missed 2 so far. He's gotten close, but just cannot get it to get back in the hoop.
Coach Ross has stripped his suit jacket, the only coach without one on right now, but he's working hard. Bad pass on the low post right block to Soria, picked away by Lawrence. 4 turnover for the Eagles. Lawrence in the front court, top of the arc. He'll back it out near the logo. Wait for a screen up top from Valderas. Takes it to the right wing. Fires up a 3. In and out, no good. Rebound in the paint, middle of the paint by Valderas. And returns to the left wing to Cantrell. His wide open 3 off the back of the iron, but tipped up on the right block. It's missed by Valderas. Ball goes to the left corner off the rim and trying to be saved by Timmons, but they're going to say he was on the line. Hobbs Eagle basketball.
One thing you can say about the Cubs, they are not shy about trying to get some hoops in and get those 2-pointers and maybe even get a foul along the way.
Talk about a fast-moving first half. Already down to 3:15 left, and Eagles up by 6.
Yep, no penalties. That'll do it.
Into the front court, as he just checked in, is Jadarius Lowe. Dribbles to the free throw line, spins, against 3 defenders, tries to throw up a half hook and gets rejected by Timmons. Timmons in transition to the free throw line, front court. Dish out to the right corner to Cantrell. Returns deep to Bruno near the half-court line. Kick over to left wing to Lawrence. Crossover move, stop and go, spin moves, and then a little scoop shot left, comes off the front of the rim, pulled down by Malachi David, his 5th board. 2:45 remaining in the half. Down to Clay, hippity hop in the lane, tries to shoot a shot putter over the front of the rim. They call the foul. I don't know if this is going to be on the shot. I think there was a body thrown at him. They will call that against the Cubs. Cantrell, his 3rd personal, 3rd team foul. That will be on the floor, though.
Exactly, but still, nevertheless, though, like as we just mentioned a moment ago, the fouls have been limited so that it hasn't slowed down this game at all. In fact, keeps speeding it up with 3 on one side and 2 on the other one. Looks like we get a timeout from the Hobbs Eagles with 2:44 to go in the first half.
Hobbs 24, Brownfield 18, back in 30 on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Your Hobbs Eagles up by 6 is in kind of pretty much the margin for most of this first half, 24-18 over Brownfield. And last year, Eagles trailed 7-1 early and then went up at the end of the first 25-7. So big turnaround a couple minutes into that first quarter, and they led at halftime by 19. And right now, just by 6, though. So Brownfield is hanging around with the Eagles here at Tasker Arena.
And they played, we've talked about the fact that they played bigger teams, stronger teams, faster teams. But this is what happened last year, and I think 2 years ago as well. Brownfield was able to stay with them, but they got a early deficit they could not get out of. But they were able to at least play back and forth and answer to the all the points that Hobbs had at that time.
I think another key stat from last year, too, Hobbs out-rebounded the Cubs 52-33, 19 differential there, plus caused 22 turnovers for Brownfield. So that's something that you don't do well here at Task Arena. Inbound to left wing to David, fakes a three, kick it up top to Lowe. Lowe will back it out into the timeline, throws it down the paint, reverse layup right side to Soria, misses off the right rim, tip back over the front of the iron, put it through for the big man David. He's got 5 points and 6 rebounds. Eagles had their biggest lead in the first half at 8. Yep, 26-18.
Shooter's touch, got it in the cylinder.
Lawrence in the front court, throws it cross court to the left corner to Bruno. Returns back to the timeline to Lawrence. He'll hold the ball for a second here. Good guard there by Lowe. Stand right with him, slide into the left side. Cross court right. To Fields, throws up a three, clinks off the right rim. Right on the block waiting for it was David for his 7th rebound. Outlet to the near sideline to bring it across Soria. Dribbling behind his back to the right corner. Returns it deep to Lowe near the timeline with 2 minutes left in the half. Right back on the yo-yo pass to Soria. Right corner three, clinks off the rim as well. Put back up on the right block by Perobi. Came off the iron, no good. And a rebound for Valderas. Throws it ahead to the right wing to Timmons in the front court. Bobbled off his leg for a second, picked up by Fields. Back deep to Lawrence to the timeline. Back over to right wing to Timmons. Jab step against 2 defenders. Sling it up top to Lawrence. NBA three, in and out, no good. Ball loose in the paint, pulled down in the left block by Bruno. Bruno tries to tip it inside. Chased down on the right wing after the deflection to Timmons. Tried to dribble in front of Clay in the right corner. Clay knocks it out of his hands in the baseline. Very tenacious defense by Josiah Clay.
You know, one of the things I've noticed here in this game is the Cubs are pretty much sticking with their starters, and Hobbs is rotating their bench and getting them out as well, get some of that experience they want so well. But this could be a Cubs thing where later on in the game they could get tired.
Just as you said that, a sub does come in for the Cubs. John Silva seeing his first action. The inbound right wing to Lawrence. Get a jab step hard against his defender Lowe to the left elbow. Stop and go, spin. Dumps it to the left block to Fields. His 10-footer bouncing around and good. His first bucket, John Fields. Back to a 6-point game. 26-20 Hobbs with 1:08 left, second quarter. Slowing it down to Soria and wants to set up the offense. He'll get picked up at the timeline by Timmons. Good patience here. Screen on the right top of the arc by Lawrence, or correction by David. Throw it to the left corner. Three on the way off the side of the rim by Sullivan. Chased down in the left corner as it bounced off. Picked up by Clay, his 4th rebound. And the baseline official calls a timeout. Looks like a souvenir ball rolling near midcourt and having to chase it down and throwing it into the stands. Sails over the Hobbs Eagle band. That was a throw from Lyric Soria. An assist to the Tubas there, it looked like.
And what it could have been really good if it would have been in the tuba, but instead went just over it.
And the Tuba guy would probably blow it right back to the court on that one. 45 seconds left in the half. Eagle inbound left corner. Driving the baseline, going high over the rim and counted off the glass is Lyric Soria. Nice fingertip push that time. All of his points in the second quarter. He's got 10 double digits. Eagles by 8. Into the front court, spin by Lawrence, kicks it left wing, 3 on the way, off the front of the iron by Silva, chased down on the far left side by Clay, his 5th rebound. He gets a double team in the backcourt, backs away from it, throws it across the timeline to Soria, left wing, 3 on the Welcome back to Task Arena. Your Hobbs Eagles first game of the season, leading over Brownfield 32-21. Last year, Eagles up by 19, ended up blowing out the Cubs 74-53, a 21-point win. We'll talk about the points here in just a minute as we have Coach Joey Carpenter up here for the Hobbs Lady Eagles, who have a game tomorrow to start their season. Boy, what a tough way to start, too, Coach. What do you got, Sandy in the house?
Yeah, they're going to be a tough one. They're boys and they're girls, and so Ronald and I, we've got them ready. We'll see what happens.
So, any strategy to having that type of a game to start the season? I mean, that's almost like an arch rival now, not in your district, but in terms of the state of New Mexico.
Yeah, it's a lot of excitement. We know them pretty well, and they know us pretty well, and so it should be a pretty good game for most of the state to look at and see, and it's gonna be all new faces, though, a lot of new faces.
I know you've had them on this schedule down here before, correct? I mean, they had to travel quite a distance here, but you've had to go up to Albuquerque too, so you kind of traded off on that, right?
Yeah, no, this is the first time they're coming here.
Okay.
So we went down there last year, and we lost a close game down there to open the season, and then we lost by 8 in the championship. So yeah, it's tough.
Now, in terms of, these games, it's kind of bad because, I mean, you play them early and your team hasn't really got all the chemistry you want, I'm sure, yet, and you got new players on the roster. I mean, it's kind of a tough game because when it comes down to the playoffs, some of those games can end up hurting you on tiebreakers and stuff like that. I mean, but you got to play them sometime, right?
Yeah, I mean, it could affect seeding, but I don't really care about that. We want to be good in February and March. They don't give out blue trophies in November. We're a work in progress right now on with all the new faces and new additions, so it's going to take us a minute. Just be patient.
Well, last year your Hobbs Lady Eagles 29-2. I mean, a very big time record. You've been pretty successful since you've been here, and 6-0 in district. Tell us what's going to change with this team as you graduated some pretty tough players. In fact, one playing at Air Force Academy, and that's pretty cool to be at an academy and also doing what she does on the court.
Yeah, we got one at the Air Force Academy, one at South Dakota, Elise. She's over there, and then we got Bryn and Nikaya are over at New Mexico Highlands, and then Kendall's over at Lubbock Christian University.
I didn't mention it. It's Brett Clay. It's at Air Force. I just said.
Yeah,
I didn't mention the name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I mean, of course, that's the old cliche, having to fill those shoes. How are you going to do that with the squad you have this year?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, we do have. Aliana's probably not going to play tomorrow, so she's out. But with Aliana, Madison, and Caselin, we got a nucleus, but then it's very inexperienced. I'm going to start an 8th grader.
Wow.
I'm going to start an 8th grader, Zoe Ross, Ronald's daughter.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to see how it goes. She's a good kid, and she works hard, and we're going to see where this thing can go.
Coach, in terms of the fans watching this team, I mean, you've had pretty high standards the last few seasons, and every time it's pretty deep into the playoffs, the pit, championship, semifinals, whoever it may be. Are you past the pressure point? Been in how many years you've been at Roswell and here at Hobbs?
It's always, they were asking me earlier about, if you get excited about November, and I really don't. I know it's a lot of teaching, a lot of learning. But December, it gets a little bit better towards the holiday tournament. But February and March is when my blood starts flowing pretty good.
And anything different in the conference or district this year that you're expecting? I know it's kind of far off to start playing those games, but do you see any big challenges coming there?
We've seen them this summer a little bit, and our belief is if we play our best and they play their best, we're going to win. That's kind of where I'm at with it.
Coach, looking forward to the Hobbs Holiday Tournament just around the corner. You can believe it. The season just starts in a few weeks. You're going to be playing right here and hopefully picking some teams off.
Yeah, probably we'll have the new #1 team in New Mexico. Albuquerque High is going to be coming. So they're loaded, and it's going to be a good tournament. Tough one for us, but wouldn't have it any other way.
Now, do you do this schedule to yourself, or does Soria do this schedule to you? The early season, I should say.
Well, yeah, we got some tough ones coming up. We got Cooper and we got Friendship, and we're going to play one of the top El Paso teams, and No, to be the best, you got to beat the best, and so we got to be challenged before district, and so we're going to get challenged quite a bit.
Well, Coach, thanks for coming up to us at halftime, and look forward to seeing your game tomorrow against Sandia.
Thanks, Ty. Hey, and have a safe trip going up there to Albuquerque, bud.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Coach Joey Carpenter, of course, Hobbs Eagles, Lady Eagles head coach, with a game tomorrow against Sandia here at Tasker. While we're at it, let's go down the numbers of the first half. First of all, for Brownfield, nobody in double digits yet. Braylon Bruno is the guy that's really taking care of the shots so far. 3 3-pointers, and all those coming for 9 total on Trey. So definitely shooting great from that left corner. Jaron Lawrence, who usually scores the big points, he averaged 25 last year, was a state team player for Texas, only has 6. 1 for 2 free throw shooting, and a Trey. 4 of those 6 in the second quarter. Trey Timmons has 4 points on 2 for 2 free throws shooting in a bucket. John Fields in the bucket for 2. 4 players have scored in the first half for Brownfield. They were 3 of 4 from the line, 75%. Only had 9 rebounds compared to 26 for the Eagles. That's what happened last year to them as well, as the Hobbs Eagles dominated the glass, which is happening again. But they've taken care of the basketball for the most part, only 1 turnover in the first half. Hobbs Eagles do have a double-digit score already. Josiah Clay, he has 13 points, 11 of those in the first quarter, and had tons of free throws too. He was 6 of 7 from the line. Lyric Soria also in double digits with 10 points, all 10 of those in the second quarter on 2 trays. Malachi David, 7 points, had a tray, and 0 for 1 on the free throw line. And then it was a Darius Proby with the bucket for 2. So 4 scores for the Eagles. Leading rebounder, Malachi David with 8, 7 for Josiah Clay, and then 5 for Jadarius Lowe. So great job on the glass. Eagles shot 6 of 8 from the line, 75%, and again out-rebounded their opponent, Brownfield, 26-9. Eagles, though, with 4 turnovers, 1 for Brownfield. What's your key for the second half, Ron?
I think the press is going to be, I want to see Ross come out here and try to see if he can get more point production with some fast break points and some other things as well. But I want to see the press be able to limit that Brownfield team and be able to boost that offense for the Eagles.
I want you to look down on the court right now and tell me what we are missing. We got 2 teams. What are we missing?
We're missing the bad guys, the referees, as you would say.
Oh, I was going to say the zebras.
Yeah.
I'm a bad guy,
I know.
I can't.
Not total bad guys, but, you know, sometimes they miss their cue. We're out here waiting for them, and they finally have come out on the floor to be ready for this game. And we definitely need them. I mean, yes, they are criticized sometimes, but they are a key to this game. Without them, it would be chaos, and we don't enjoy chaos over here.
32-21, your Eagles up by 11. Their biggest lead was 12 in the first half. As we get ready for the third quarter of action. Again, top scorers, Clay with 13, Soria with 10 for your Eagles, 9 for Bruno, and 6 for Lawrence. Again, we start the foul totals at 0 here in the start of the third, and it will be Brownfield basketball. Coming across the timeline is Lawrence. Fumbled the ball, almost got stolen by Clay. Got stripped from behind anyway for the Eagles. Nice hands on the ball by Proby. That'll be the second Brownfield turnover. Bounce in the front court to the left elbow. Shot for Soria and nails it wide open. Nobody guarding him that time. And Soria now with 12 points, second leading scorer. 1 shy of Clay at 13. 34-21, the biggest lead now is 13. Into the front court after a handoff. Fields, top of the circle. Slings it back to Lawrence on the right wing, waiting for a screen from Cantrell. He comes to the middle of the free throw line. Dump it to the left corner to Timmons for 3 out the back of the rim. Tipped and brought down in the middle of the paint by Clay, his 8th rebound. Eagles continue to dominate on the glass, 27-9.
I want to see who gets that double-double today.
Into the front court to slow it down is Clay. Trying to get the offense rotating on the wings. Now comes back to the left. And going to the other side of the court to wait for the pass is Sanders. Instead gives it left wing into Soria. He drills the 3 over the top of Timmons. Big time for Lyric Soria. That's his 3rd tray of the game. He had 15 points now, but last year he was second on the team with 3-pointers with 28. Driving the rack to the left side, Lawrence, he scoop passes the left corner to Bruno. Cross court right to Timmons, outside the 3-point. Crossover move, lefty layup high on the reverse from right to left, and is fouled going up against the Eagles on that one. A double team underneath the hoop that time. Malachi David was in the area. Not sure who they called that against. Usually the big man might get in trouble for that, but they called it instead. Yeah, it is on David. It's just his first, though. And the first team foul for the Eagles. That will send Timmons to the line. He's perfect 2 for 2. Team is 3 for 4 for 75%.
Hobbs on a 5-0 run right now. That could end right now with this one, but no, it does not. He misses as it rolls right on out of there.
So Timmons now 2 for 3. 6:36 left third quarter. Eagles by 16. their biggest lead of the game. Second shot, kind of a fadeaway off the back of the rim, and a tussle for it on the left baseline off a Cub. Nice effort to go after it for David, but knocked out by Timmons. Eagle basketball inbound right corner to Soria. Bounce it to Clay, gets double team, slings it across the timeline to Sanders. Stop and go, spin against double team pressure, scoop it back to Clay, left corner near the timeline, and the ball gets knocked out by the Cubs in front of the Taskerich band on the near side. Eagle basketball in the front court.
Cubs are employing a full court press on this one so far, seeing if they can get any difference and get the ball back quicker.
Inbound to Soria in the backcourt, bounces it across to Clay as he takes on Lawrence. Slowing it down, though, at the Hobbs Eagle logo in the middle of the court. Dribbles left, underhands it to Soria, left wing. Shot put pass over the right side to Proby. Coming behind, a handoff to Sanders, to back behind into Soria. NBA three, an air ball. Rebound left block, pulled in transition by Fields on the dribble. Comes into the front court on a spin, sends it to the near side to Lawrence. Jab step taking on Sanders. Stop and go with the screen by Timmons on the right wing. Correction, that was Fields on the screen. Unloads to Bruno left wing, back deep to the timeline to Lawrence. Backs it out on the Eagle feathers of the logo. Stop and go dribble. Left elbow behind his back. Spins on the left elbow. And we got to travel. They're going to say he picked up his pivot foot, put it back down, and Lawrence looks over to the other ref and says, I didn't do that, and they're not going to change the call there. That's the third turnover for the Cubs.
And that's what happens when you debate about whether you're going to shoot it or pass it. You pass up the shoot, and you take the pass, and you stumble in the process.
Good job for the Eagles to stay on the floor, not kind of going with the head fakes. That would have got them up, and that's when Lawrence is going to take it to the rack. Good job of staying down and wait for the play. Into the front court, a pass to David. Spins on the right elbow. Fadeaway jumper. He got away with the stutter step himself. Cubs coach is showing the travel signal. Not going to get it, though. 9 points for Malachi David on that right elbow. He's got 18 lead for the Eagles now. Their biggest of the game. Bad pass to the left corner. Stolen for the Eagles. Going to the hoop. Double clutch out the right glass. The backboard was slapped. They're going to call that basket interference. As trying to put a little two-hander up on the right side was Proby. A player for the Cubs went up and slapped the backboard. That's a new rule this year. Any movement of that backboard to the rim is an automatic 2 points going in.
It's a goaltending, yes indeed.
41-21, Proby with 4. Biggest lead now is 20. Quickly down the lane. Wrap around for Timmons in the left corner to Bruno. Back door to Cantrell. Gets his shot swatted by big man Malachi David to the right baseline. It looked like that time Cantrell was kind of just flipping it up there to see if they're going to get David off the floor or not, and he just returned it on a volleyball spike to that right base. Inbound right wing to Timmons, sling it over to the left side. To Lawrence, we got a whistle underneath. Actually, on that sideline, the official right behind the potential 3-shot there called the foul. I don't think it was on the shot.
No, it was away from the ball.
We're going to call that on Clay on a push in the back. His second team foul here in the third. Pass to Lawrence on the inbound. Fake to 3, spin move to left elbow. Spins again, goes baseline, throws up a lefty hook, no good, off the back of the rim. Pulled down by David, his 9th rebound. He's working on a double-double. 9 points and 9 boards. Unloads in the front court to Clay on the right wing. Dribbles to his legs, to the right elbow, to the corner to Soria. Drives baseline, scoop off the glass and scores. Soria now has 7 here in the third, 17 overall.
He's taking advantage of that low center gravity of his.
43-21, and the Cubs need another timeout. 4:16 remaining here in the third. Eagles 43, Brownfield 21. We're back in 30 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Your Hobbs Eagles up 43-21 here in the third over Brownfield. 11-0 run, and the Eagles getting up and down the court and get some good rebounding action. We saw that at halftime as well, the numbers in the first half. And Malachi David now leading with 9 boards, 8 for Clay and 5 for Jadarius Lowe. Clay and Lowe are not post players, so they are doing some guard work on the boards.
Yeah, what the thing is this. We've seen the Cubs pressing. We haven't seen Hobbs press, but either way, it's working out for the best for Hobbs Eagles right now with 4:16 to go in the third.
22-point lead, the biggest of the game for the Eagles. 4:15 remaining in the third. Inbound to Lawrence. Touch pass to the left wing to Timmons on the pivot. Up top to Cantrell. Touch pass to Lawrence on the right wing, picked up by Clay. Dribbles up top. Finds Bruno on the left wing. Touch pass again to Timmons on the far left sideline. Gets a screen from Cantrell. Drives the paint. Stripped from behind. Looks like trying to whack at it was a Jalen Sanders if they get him on the foul there. And that will be actually against Soria. He was in the area. I thought they got Sanders. That's his first. And the third team foul against the Eagles. Inbound comes on the left baseline. Inbounding will be Cantrell. Goes it back deep, leaping in the air, but stripped out of his hands. Going the other way for the Eagles, right to the rim, Proby, and lays it in with a little finger roll. Proby with 6 points. That's the fourth Brownfield turnover. Eagles have a 24-point lead. Comes quickly in the front court. Stop and go for Lawrence. Dumps it left corner to Cantrell. 3 on the way, off the back of the rim. Pulled down in the left block again. This is Proby's time. His third rebound. Gives it off to Clay on the far side. Hippity-hop dribbles. He takes on Lawrence in the front court. Lawrence with only 6 points in this game, averaging 25 last year on the All-State team in Texas. Hand off to Story on the right wing. Back to Clay on the give and go. Right base goes into the rack. Double clutch in the paint. No good. Goes up. Misses the tip. Misses it again off the rebound. He's got 10 boards. Pulled down by Lawrence in transition. His fourth board. Goes to the left baseline. 15-footers on the way. And a swish put through by Fields, his second bucket.
And the first bucket of the game of this third quarter for the Cubs.
45-23. We got a travel on the near sideline front court. Is trying to pass was David, kind of stumbled forward. Had some good pressure by Bruno for the Eagles' fifth turnover. Hobbs had only had 4 turnovers in the first half, only 1 in the second half, 5 overall compared to 4 for Brownfield. Pretty clean ball in terms of taking care of possessions by both teams.
Yeah, and that last shot killed a 13-point run for the Hobbs Eagles.
3 minutes left, third quarter. Lawrence going to drive, shot inside the left elbow and puts it through on the J. Lawrence with 8 points. A 20-point Eagle lead, though. Inbound to Clay in the backcourt. A trap, 1-2-2, full court for the Cubs. Pass to Lowe on the far right, tried to bounce it up the sideline in front of the scores table. Good hands by Lawrence and knock it out of bounds. Eagles are having their backcourt inbounded by Lowe with a 20-point lead.
Nice little to go a little.
Nice little cushion to have your first game of the season at home, Ron.
Exactly it is, and you want to get both experience as well as some pressure to see how well you do against a good team.
Eagle basketball in the front court to Proby after the inbound, dribbling through his legs, comes down the paint. High arching shot, it scores. He used his body just to go right into the red and puts it through. Proby with 6 of his 8 points in the third. Eagles by 22. Into the front court, pass to Lawrence on the left wing. He'll spot up an NBA 3, in and out, no good. Pulled down underneath the hoop for the Eagles by Rodriguez, his second board. Throws it ahead to a breaking Clay. Double clutch over the front of the rim, no good on the layup. Ball loose, it rolls up top of the arc, chased down by the Cubs by Timmons, his first rebound. Goes it down to Lawrence, double clutch on the left glass. He is hammered from behind by Lowe. Boy, very hard to hear the whistles up high up here at Tasker Arena, but they get the foul. Looks like they'll charge that one to Rodriguez, just his first, and the 14th foul against Hobbs.
Yeah, Rodriguez hasn't got a point yet, but he has his first foul of the game.
Lawrence on the line, 1 for 2 for the Charities. Call it there because they've whittled a 24-point lead down to 17 in favor of the Cubs, at least in this little stretch. 1:30 left, third quarter. Hobbs by 7. .130 left, third quarter. Your Hobbs Eagles up by 17. 7-point turnaround here for the Cubs to get it down underneath 20 now. 47-30 here in the third. Inbound to the far right sideline, the backcourt to David. Sends it down to a breaking Soria. Wide open scoop for the score. What a pass from David on the assist. Soria now has a total of 9 in this third, 19 overall to lead the Eagles. 13 for Clay, 9 for David, and 8 for Proby. 49-30, 1:13 left, a 3-shot left corner. Cantrell misses out the back of the rim. Rebound on the left block by Rodriguez, his third rebound. Goes it up court to Soria, left wing, guarded by Timmons. Cross court right to David. Fadeaway 3, an NBA-style tray over the top of Cantrell. Big-time shot for David. He's got his second tray and 12 points for the Eagles. Hobbs up by 22 once again. Into the front court, Cantrell on the left wing. Sends it to the right side of the arc to Timmons. Guarded by Soria. Back deep to Lawrence. He's going to hold a second against the defense. To see what they're going to do. Lowe will stay with him. Hip to hip. Dribbles to the left elbow. Comes down the lane on the cradle. They're going to say a little reach from behind by Lowe. Stayed with him for quite a bit of that drive and then unfortunately hooked him at the last second. So Jadarius Lowe will get that foul. And that'll be his third personal, 15th foul. It's a double bonus now for the Cubs.
If it wasn't for that hook, it could have been a walk, but instead he did try to stop him, slow him down, hooked his arm, and got called for the foul.
Did not call that a shooting foul. The inbound to the left wing to Timmons. Drives the lane. Cradle goes to rack. Reverse. Misses it high in the air. Pulled down for the Eagles in transition. Proby in the front court. Stop and go on the far right sideline. Comes down the lane. Throws it right corner. Morales fires a three out the front of the rim. Pulled down top of the arc after the ricochet by Lawrence. His 5th rebound. Dumps it right block. Fade away for Timmons. He throws it through the hole. They're going to call the hip foul there. Charge against Proby.
Probably trying to get his case as far as him being up in the air without blocking anything, but to no avail. He's still going to get the call anyway.
So 13.9 seconds left in the third as they called that foul for Proby, again his 4th. Missed the free throw, though, for Timmons.
Hard off the back of the rim on that one.
He's dropped now to 2 for 5. He made his first 2 in the first quarter, but then missed all 3 here in the third. He's got 1 more. Trying to make it 9 points in his book. Hobbs by 22, make it 21 as he makes the second free throw. 13.9 remaining. Inbound to Clay. Stop and go as he takes on Timmons to the timeline. Double team against him as he comes across. Down to 8. Throws it down the lane. Nice needle pass right to the hands and a layup over the front of the rim by Rodriguez. His first of the game and a 3-quarter court shot at the buzzer. No good. Way underneath the hoop by Lawrence. Will end the third quarter. 54-31. Eagles by 23. One side their biggest lead of the ball game. We'll come back as the Eagles lead over Brownfield on Cool 95.7 and HobbsAmerica.com. Your Hobbs Eagles up by 23 over Brownfield, 54-31 as we get ready for the fourth quarter. In terms of scoring, 1 in double digits for Brownfield. Jerron Lawrence has 11. Braylon Bruno with 9, all coming on trays, 3 of them. Trey Timmons with 7 points and John Fields with 4. In terms of the Eagles, they've got 3 in double figures. Lyric Soria with 19, 10 at the half, and 9 in the third quarter. Josiah Clay with 13 points and 12 for Malachi David. Double-double now for Malachi David, 12 points and 10 rebounds. The other big rebounding job by Clay, he's got a double-double with those 13 points and 10 boards. And let's not forget about Jadarius Lowe with 5 rebounds. So already 2 double-digit scores and double-doubles, I should say, for players of the Hobbs Eagles.
And we're only getting into the fourth quarter. This is the first game that is very good news for both the coach, Ross, as well as the team.
So we're going to get started here in the fourth quarter with a 23-point lead, Hobbs Eagle basketball. The starter coming in for the Eagles, Soria, who went back to the backcourt to Sanders. Also in there, Clay, Malachi David. And they hand it off on the left wing to Lowe. Lowe up top to David. Spins and hands it off to the right wing to Sanders. To the right block again on the give and go to David. He goes up big with his tall size over the right rim and scores. David with 14. Adding on to that double-double for tonight. 56-31. Biggest lead now is 25 here in the fourth. Into the front court unload to the right corner to Fields. Hands it behind to Lawrence, right side as well. Good chest up there by the defense of Clay. Spin move with the right block, stripped away low for a second. He gets it out of his hands on the double team. That'll be the 5th turnover for the Cubs. Pass down to the left corner, wide open Sanders for 3. It's bouncing around, no good. Tipped up twice over the rim, no good for Malachi David. Low with the fade away on the shot put over the front of the rim and scores. Lowe with his first bucket and 6th rebound of the game. Eagles by 27, their biggest lead here in the fourth. 7 minutes remaining. Lawrence gets the screen, jump shot from the left elbow off the back of the rim. Pulled down in the left block for the Eagles by Sanders, his 2nd rebound. Throws it in the paint to the backcourt to David, a dangerous throw. Across the top into Soria, far right, to Lowe in the right corner. Kicking up top to Clay, drives the paint. 1-on-3, finger roll over the front of the rim, no good. Lowe goes back up with it on the right side, gets swatted, and it goes out of bounds. So another rebound for Lowe, his 7th. Eagle basketball on the baseline.
Lane wide open on the left-hand side, couldn't roll it in though. Everything but the final sail, and could not get that to fall.
6:40 left, fourth quarter. Hobbs up by 27. The biggest lead of the game. They throw it in to David on the right block. Turn around, hook shot in the paint. Throws it through for 2. He's got 16.
And that might be their go-to play.
29-point lead for the Eagles, 60-31. Quickly, Lawrence in the front court. Comes down the lane, tries to reverse on the left side. Might have got hit before he went up with the shot there. Might have got his a clothesline in his face, it looked like, by the Eagles. They call that against Clay, his 3rd. That'll be just the first foul in the fourth quarter. They're going to say it was on the floor.
Yeah, he was held as he was trying to take off to go into the lane. So no shot at all for that one.
Wait a second here. Now they're getting everybody sorted out. They're going to call free throws.
Nope, actually, I was thinking it would be because of their 5th, but that is now a new quarter. So
yep, it goes to
guess
zeros.
It was a shooter.
So they're going to give him 2. Lawrence, 2 for 4 from the charity stripe, trying to get his first point of the fourth quarter, and throws it through for 12 total. He is the leading scorer. Bruno with 9 and Chimmons with 7. Eagles with 3 in double digits. 19 Soria, 13 Clay, and now 16 for David due to 2 buckets here in the fourth. Hard shot at the back of the rim, no good. Gets knocked around in the paint, goes out of bounds on the far right off a Cub. Hobbs Eagle basketball. And Coach Ross going to go to his bench for a sub. As checking back in, got some early time. That was Hendrick Sullivan. He returns. And taking a breather is Sanders. Clay has it, throws it to the near sideline to Soria left, into the front court. Crossover, double team, kick it up top to Hendricks, dribbles with his left hand to the elbow, fires up a shot from the top of the free throw line, no good. Put up by David, misses, but goes back up on the left side of the rim, double clutch and scores, and is fouled. 18 points for David. That is his 13th rebound, and a chance to get his 2nd free throw attempt of the ball game.
I love the fact that he's able to get underneath the basket, keep his presence, and not get boxed out by these shorter players.
That's Gustafson's 2nd foul, first on the Cubs. And David, we're getting ready to be at the 19-point mark, and he gets it. 19 for David. He's tied up with Soria now for top score. 63-32. We're just 4 points away from Mercy Roll, 31-point lead. 6 minutes remaining. In the front court, Lawrence. Taking on Lowe. Lowe gives him a little bit of a hit, but he drives the lane. Lawrence does up a sidewinder hook coming down the left side of the lane, and a foul. Trying to help out there was David. And Lowe is going to get the foul still, though. That'll be his 3rd personal, 2nd team foul. And Lawrence right back to the line. He's been there just seconds ago. He is 3 for 6 from the charity stripe for 50%.
I was going to say, Cubs as a team, they're not shooting the best on the line.
Makes the free throw there. He is 2 for 3 here in the fourth quarter. It looks like they just have 2 fouls for Lowe. I had him for 3. So I'll make an adjustment here, whether I'm wrong or right. Got some subs coming in now for the Cubs. Jathan Stell seeing his first action for the Cubs and returning Jaredon Valderas, who does have 3 rebounds but no points. Second shot for Lawrence is a swish. So he went 3 for 4 here in the fourth. He's got 14 to lead the Cubs. Eagles by 29. Inbound quickly to Clay. Stop and go near the timeline. Throws a long one down to the right corner to Hendricks. Drives baseline right. Throws it with a hook shot. Misses out the front of the rim. Trying to tap it up was David. Couldn't get it to drop. Put back up by Hendricks. And the official stops the game. I didn't see a foul. He didn't have a fist up in the air. He had his open hand to stop the clock. I don't see what the call is, though.
Hendricks, though, showing some initiative. He was there the whole time trying to get that rebound and was able to get it, just wasn't able to get it in. And unfortunately, doesn't seem to be much of a score afterwards.
Yeah, the official put his hand up open on that one. I wasn't sure what the call was. No foul, I guess, but it will be Hobbs basketball on the left base. Maybe it hit the baseline. Inbound to the left corner to David. David touch pass behind him to Clay. Stop and go. Touch pass to Soria left corner. Back inside to David. Left block. He goes up big on a spin move and puts it through. 9 points in the fourth quarter, 21 overall for Malachi David on a double-double night with 14 rebounds. 65-34. Eagles matching their biggest lead at 31. Lawrence in the front court. Stop and go. Shot from right. 3 is off the front of the rim. Ripping it down is Clay on the right block. Clay going to take a dribble quickly for the Eagles. That was his 11th rebound. Stop and go. Spin in the lane. Little windmill look on the right side is fouled. Comes off the right rim, but he'll get 2 free throws. Talk about a quick step to the hole there.
He loves those windmills and some fancy shots that are underneath the basket. Looking great. He just needs to work on his finishing. And once he can do that, then he'll have the and one to boot.
They call the foul on Valderas. That'll be his second personal, second team foul. Clay on the line has shot 7 times and made 6 of those. Almost perfect. Trying to get his first point of the fourth quarter. Shot is up and good. He's got 14. And, of course, 21 for David, 19 for Soria. Soria hasn't scored yet in the fourth quarter. Nice to have 3 guys such high in the scoring for the Eagles.
Exactly it is. And, again, at the beginning of the game, we talked about the fact that we did not want to rely on 1 or 2 people. We wanted 3 or 4 that could score.
Clay misses the free throw underneath the hoop to pull it down as Valderas, his 4th board. Gives it off to the timeline to Lawrence with 4:50 left. Drives the lane. High runner shot at the left rim. No good. Gets his own rebound underneath the hoop. His 6th. Goes back up on the right block as he threaded underneath. They got a body foul on him by Sullivan. That will be a shooting situation. First on Sullivan, 3rd team foul. So, boy, Lawrence starting to build a house on that free throw line.
He is, and he's shooting in the right spot at the right time, getting those calls, and heading back to the line and just practicing at this point.
Failed to mention Hobbs has their biggest lead of 32, but now make it 31 again as Lawrence makes the first free throw. He's got 4 points here in the fourth, 15 overall to lead the Cubs. But he's only got a total, looks like, 4 buckets in the ballgame. Rest of that's been free throws as he makes another one there. So Hobbs doing a great job of keeping him down on the scoring. And now with that second free throw, it's a 30-point ball game. 66-36, Eagles all over Brownfield. We should also mention, too, in that JV game, which I guess was kind of a precursor to this one, kind of gave us an omen of what was going to come for the Cubs.
Right.
Hobbs JV winning 83-25 in that one. Unbelievable, blowing out the Cubs.
Never in doubt about that one. And I love the fact that the JV squad comes out strong. Usually they have some struggles. They have early momentum problems, but this time around they started off strong this season, and hopefully they'll continue on as it goes along. I'd like to thank our sponsors for the Hobbs Eagles, of course, R360, Lasgo Construction, IPS, Lico, Outlaw Grill, Eunice Pump and Supply, DNC Electric, Burrito Beast, NMJC, Norley Hospital District, along with Bel Air Bowl, Thriftway, NMR Pipeline, Elite Home Health, and Albertsons Market. Without you guys, we would not be able to put this on the air and on the radio.
I know some fans out there were kind of wondering. We kept talking about, quote, football players that aren't on the roster yet in the pregame, but look at the score right here, a 30-point lead. We want those football players to concentrate on that game tomorrow, the semifinals against Cleveland. Winner goes to the championship. Hobbs hasn't been in a semifinal or a championship in 41 years. The last time it was in 81 against Clovis in the championship. Eagles won the semifinal game, but boy, would that be a nice pickoff of the number 2 team, Cleveland.
Yeah, they're going to have to face a Storm team that they have been 0-8 against, and they want to be 1-8 by the end of the game.
So we'll have that coverage. We'll talk about that in the postgame. Eagles do a couple of passes up court, missing the little push shot. Proby on the right block, rebound for Lawrence, his 7th. Dribbles to the timeline, taking on the tough defense of Lowe. Gets by him to the free throw line, pushes off on another defender, Proby, and throws up a shot, a runner in the paint. Lawrence will put it through. That's his first bucket in the fourth quarter. He's got 18 overall to lead the Cubs. Hobbs by 28. 4:20 left in the game. Clay into the front court, or at least coming to the timeline, now in the front court. Stop and go, beats his defender down the lane. Valderas, double clutch on the right block and scores. Good head fake, too, to score as Clay now with 16.
Looked like he wanted to pass it, didn't have an open lane, so he just took the shot.
68-38, Eagles by 30 in the front court. Back it into Lowe, top of the arc, Lawrence, kick it left corner, 3 on the way, and good. Kind of bounce around the rim, stayed in is Timmons, his first tray of the game. He's got 10, second man in double figures for Brownfield.
As it goes off, the Brownfield player will be back to Hobbs for another possession.
Brownfield came into this game 0-2 with some very tough matchups. Of course, Trinity Christian is always in the playoff mix. They hit 7 trays against Brownfield. They also got beat by Estacado from Lubbock 70-44. So you're losing by 24 and 26 in those first 2 games. Pass to the timeline is fumbled. Soria has to dive on the hardwood, and going down with him is Lawrence. Those 2 guys helping each other up. Good sportsmanship there. And the jump ball, they're going to say both hands on the ball, so they will get the arrow that will go back to the Cubs. The Eagles' 8th turnover of the ball game.
Of course, we remember those Lubbock Trinity games against the Hobbs Eagles. Hobbs struggled to keep up with that fast-paced Trinity team.
Eagles really have cleaned up with the turnovers. They had 14 last year, just 8 tonight. And, boy, the Brownfield team had 22 last year. They only have 5 in this game, so turnovers hasn't been the major issue. Rebounding definitely has. They call the hold foul on the Eagles as they will charge that one to Lowe, his 3rd personal, 14th foul, 1 away from the double bonus. Cubs basketball on the inbound left wing. Stell to the right wing to Timmons. They'll make that Gustafson. He fires a 3, and the Eagles backed up. David took a step back, and Gustafson makes him pay as he hits a tray. 68-43. 3:20 left in the ball game. Clay in the front court on the right wing as he takes on Timmons. Backs it out. Goes it to the timeline to Soria. Letting the clock run here. Bounce it off to the right wing to Clay through his legs. Handoff up top to Lowe. One hands over to Soria on the right wing. Picked up by by Fields. Shot from the top of the arc and nothing but net. Soria drills another one. He has got 4 trays in the ball game as the 2nd tray shooter for last year's team behind Abraham Pena, but he continues to light it up here at Tasker. A spin move in the front court by Timmons. Lost the ball on the far left sideline and out of bounds. For the Cubs, 6th turnover.
Yeah, he went one way, the ball went the other one and went out of bounds, and that was the end of that.
71-43. Cubs going to try to get a sub in here, and they will do so. As coming on the court once again, Valderas checks in for Timmons. Timmons, one of their double-digit scorers with 10. And again, the leader, 18 for Jaron Lawrence. Eagles still sitting with a total of 22 for Soria, 17, or make it 16 for Clay, and Malachi David has 21 to lead the Eagles. Actually 2nd behind Soria's 22. Top of the arc, Clay's going to fire a 3 off the back of the rim. Chased down on the right wing, though, by Proby, his 4th rebound. Gets a double team in the corner and sends it back up to the right wing to Lowe. He drives the lane, shot with a hook on the right block off the back of the rim. Cubs trying to save it, but right back to Clay. This is a reverse layup on the right side. They're going to say the Cubs stepped on the baseline, though. I didn't see them stop in action there. I thought Clay was getting an easy bucket. Wide open underneath. He just kind of dribbled to the hoop, and then the official pulled him back. Right. Said the Cubs already stepped on the line, so it will be Hobbs basketball on the left baseline.
So no loss on that one. Hobbs still gets the opportunity, and they make it almost.
Alley-oop. David misses out the back of the rim. Pulled down on the near sideline for the Cubs by Fields, his 3rd rebound. There's a shove in the back by Soria. Really didn't need that push, but that is his 2nd personal, 15th foul. That means a march to the other end. Double bonus for Brownfield, but I don't think those free throws are going to be worth 28 points.
No, they won't. That's the only thing that we can talk about right now as far as what Hobbs needs to work on. First half, clean on the fouls. Second half, they have let the Cubs get a bonus both quarters. So that's something they'll need to work on if they want to keep the other team out a bonus.
Well, Fields misses the free throw on his first here. Stays at 4 in the books point-wise, and keeps the lead at 28 for the Eagles. Of course, the Eagles have another game tomorrow against Sandia. Doubleheader with the ladies as well. 2nd shot off the back of the iron. Rebound on the left block. Nice little tip to keep it in action for the Eagles on that board by Perez. They go back door to the left block. Soria goes up with it with the lefty, and they got a foul underneath. He got hit hard, laid on his back in front of Coach Teal, the assistant for the Eagles, on the bench there underneath the hoop. So that's going to be a foul against the Cubs. We'll send Soria to the charity stripe as they get that one against Gustafson, his 3rd personal, 3rd team foul.
Not only that, but he also had to adjust to the ball being a little lower than he expected to be, but was able to get the ball and make an attempt on the shot.
That was his first free throw attempt as he puts it through the hole. 23 points for Soria. He is the team leader right now in scoring. 21 for David and 16 for Clay. And let's not forget about Darius Proby's 8 points that came in the 3rd quarter. Or 6 in the 3rd and a bucket in the 1st. Hobbs up now 29 with 2:13 left in the first game of the season. And looks like Coach Ross will bring in a couple subs, get some loud applause as they wait for the free throw first from Soria. It's up and good. So Soria's going to finish with 24 points and perfect free throw shooting on those 2 there, 2 for 2.
And we were concerned at the halftime whether it be a good scoring game or not, but 73 points so far from the Eagles, and that is a far cry from what they did last year. They were low-scoring games. This one is a good one.
30-point lead with 2:10 remaining, 73-43. In the front court, top of the arc, Stell sends it left wing. The three-point shooter, Bruno, in and out off the left wing. Ball knocks off the iron, rolls out of bounds on the near side, but they say it was touched by Rodriguez for the Eagles. He tried to chase it down. So will be Cubs basketball near sideline front court in front of the big tuba section here in the Taskovich band. Him out of the backcourt to Fields. Going to go one-on-one against Rodriguez to the left wing. Tries to hand it off. The ball gets deflected to the timeline by the Cub player, Silva. Tries to chase it down. I'm not sure if that's a backcourt violation. Refs are talking about it, whether it was touched or not. And they are going to call backcourt. One official had a discussion and told him that there was no touch, so it's going to be Hobbs basketball. That will be a Brownfield turnover, number 7.
Yeah, I was concerned about that. It was a backcourt.
1:52 left in the game. Into the front court, we had those subs check in. That's Josiah Morales. Hands it up top to Cerna. Top of the arc to Morales. Gets a double team. Lefty dribble to the left arc. No look pass the left block to Perez, who got hammered. He started to take a dribble, then he was chested up by the Cubs defender on that left block. That'll be a foul against Silva, his first. 14 foul. Eagles one away from the double bonus, but with a 30-point lead and 1:39 left in the fourth.
Yeah, luckily nobody got hurt on that one, but definitely Hobbs with the possession still.
Aiden Cerna inbound left corner, gets it into a breaking Morales. Fadeaway three left corner, no good. And chased down on the right wing by Jeremiah Torres. Up top, and a three on the way for Morales, who nails his first bucket of the ball game, a tray. Eagles by 33, their biggest lead in the contest, 76-43 with 1:30 remaining.
Top of the arc downtown, it was a great shot.
Silva comes down the lane, he cradles it, trying to go through two defenders on the right block, Morales and Rodriguez for the Eagles, and they call the foul on one of those two guys. Nope, let me change that up here. They're going to call it on Torres instead. That's his first. Still a double bonus regardless. On the line will be Silva, who's got no free throw attempts yet and has not scored, so first chance to get some points for the Cubs, who trail by 33. Taking some time, taking a deep breath. No dribbles on the free throw and pulls it through. First point of the ball game for Silva. So far, the Cubs have had 5 scorers, and the Hobbs Eagles with 7. Second shot is up, and it's bouncing around the rim, no good. As a rebound coming out for the Eagles by Rodriguez, his fourth. Throws it up ahead, down the lane, going up high over the rim, and a layup. Nice finger roll for the Eagles. Perez gets into the scorebook for the first time. 78-44. That was Jaden Perez. 34-point lead, 1 point away from mercy roll. 1:10 remaining. In the front court, top of the arc, Stell. Throws it back to the timeline to Fields. Good tough pressure being applied by Rodriguez. Spin move, unloads to the top of the arc. To Silva, puts his shoulder down. Over to right side to Bruno. Touch pass right wing again to Fields. Cross court left to Timmons and back deep to Bruno near the timeline. Bad pass in the right wing, taken away by Morales. Turnover number 8 for the Cubs. Goes to the rack, tries to put up a lefty layup high in the air and gets hammered. So that'll put Morales on the line. He has a tray in this quarter and a chance to add 2 free throws after the Cubs foul, which would be number 5. Double bonus the rest of the ball game. Waiting to see who they call this against. And that will be charged to Bruno, his 3rd personal. And I like to see all these different guys getting some playing time as well to work on their skills in this first game at home.
Exactly. If we learn anything from the Hobbs Lady Eagles, it's rotate that bench, get everybody experience, so that way you never know who's on the bench and who's not on the bench.
Morales' free throw bounced around several times and fell through for the point. He gets a second now. Reverse spin on the basketball.
And we hit 80.
And it looks like we had a lane violation against the Eagles, so no good on the second. 4 points, though, for Josiah Morales. He did make that free throw, but one of his teammates stepped on the paint line there. 35-point lead. The margin is mercy rule now, biggest of the game. In the front court, shot from right from Bruno for 3 off the right rim, no good. Chased down on the left block by Morales, his second rebound. Outlet to the far side to Rodriguez. Sends it across the timeline, an error pass down to the left corner, taken away by Stell for the Eagles' night turnover. Hand off to his teammate Bruno into the front court now with 20 seconds remaining. Head fake, unload left wing to Stell. Stell, stop and go, up top to Bruno. Step back 3 on the way, hits the front of the rim off the clink. Rebound right corner for the Eagles. Morales is 3rd, down to 10 seconds. Throws it ahead to a breaking Torres, lefty layup and scores. Torres has got in the books now. Another score for the Eagles, who now lead by 37 here in the 4th, and that is the ball game after the steal. That'll be the night turn for the Cubs. The Eagles win a big one at home. 81-44 over Brownfield. Last year's total, a win by 21 points, and tonight, a total of 37. So a bigger margin than last year and more points on the scoreboard, 7 more for the Eagles, and they allowed 9 less points for the Cubs compared to last year's game. 81-44 the final here at Tasker. We'll take a 3-minute break, come back with the Hobbs Eagle postgame show live on HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, the Cool 95.7 Facebook page, and on the radio, Cool 95.7. Welcome back to Tasker Arena. Your Hobbs Eagles victorious first game of the season, 81-44 over Brownfield. Hobbs now 1-0, and Brownfield drops to 0-2 or 0-3. They lost 2 in Texas to start it off, and now in New Mexico to the Hobbs Eagles. So pretty impressive game, Ron. Eagles finished with 3 in double figures. 2 of those guys with a double-double. Malachi David, 21 points, 14 rebounds unofficially, and Josiah Clay, 16 points and 11 rebounds. Those 2 combined for 37 points and a total of 25 rebounds. Plus, the Eagles had 8 3-pointers in the ball game.
And the takeaway from me on this one is this. When you're hitting the ground running in the first game of the season, the new season, and you do that well, that means you're only going to improve and get better as it goes along. And by the time we get into district, of course, Hobbs will be a huge juggernaut of a team.
I should mention, too, if you go back to their first game, Brownfield, they lost to Lubbock Trinity Christian 78-54. So they beat Trinity Christian, only beat them by 24 points. The Eagles tonight win by 37 and had one more trade than Lubbock Trinity. And Trinity Christian is a team that's way deep into the playoffs every year.
Oh, yeah.
Hobbs has had some trouble with them several years in the past, too, and not coming up with a win in Lubbock. So that's impressive to kind of compare those 2 numbers. And they also got beat by a Staccato by 26. Again, this is a road trip, quite a far road trip compared to what they're doing in Lubbock, but still a pretty impressive game for the Eagles. Let's look at the numbers for the Cubs, though. They finished up 2 in double figures. Jaron Lawrence, 18. He averaged 25 last year. Had a lot of free throw chances, 7 of 10 for 70%. And pretty much dominating in terms of free throws in that fourth quarter where he was 5 of 6 from the charity stripe, but not a lot of baskets in this game for him. In fact, he only had 5 buckets, and the rest of those were free throws.
Not sure if it was just the fact that Hobbs was able to defend him that well, or it just the ball wasn't getting to him as much as he hoped it would. Either way, though, Hobbs did play a great game, both offensively, defensively, and I think they got a lot better in the second half. The only thing they need to work on are those fouls.
Should mention 11 of his 18 points were from free throws, so he did miss a few in this ball game.
Right.
Also, in the terms of scoring, Trey Timmons with double digits. He had 10 points. Going back to Lawrence for a minute, he had the 18, but he had 7 rebounds. And again, Timmons, 10 points. He had 4 free throw attempts, 2 for 4 for 50%. Braylon Bruno, all 3 of his buckets were trays. Did not score, though, in the second half. Ended up with 9 points. It was John Fields with 4 points, 0 for 2 from the line. Javian Gustafson's only bucket was a tray for 3. John Silva went 1 of 2 from the line for 1. So in terms of scoring, there was only 6 guys in the books for the Brownfield Cubs. They were 11 of 18 from the charity stripe for 61% and had 9 turnovers compared to the Eagles' 9. So even in that category there, but of course the scoreboard, much different situation. The numbers I hope I'm right about. Didn't have my first game jitters here, but I have rebounding 48-17 in favor of the Eagles, 31 more boards. I think you have a reason for that, don't you?
Absolutely I do, because Hobbs was getting second and third chance attempts on those. They were able to not only get it up, but get it back. Of course, we always talk about the fact that rebounds are only nice, but it's nicer when you make the basket the first time around and don't get the rebound to worry about afterwards.
Yeah, and again, Malachi David was a prime example. He's just kind of getting his touch in there. He's a very smooth post player for the Eagles. Got up there a few times using his size. Just didn't get it tipped in, but then he'd have 2 or 3 more tips after that and finally get it to drop through. So glad to see him maneuvering in the paint. But again, Eagles with major domination on the glass. Same thing happened last year, but this was even more of a gap there between the winner and the loser here at Tasker Arena.
Right.
Hobbs Eagles, as we mentioned, 3 in double figures, 2 of those in double doubles. The leader again, Lyric Soria, the guard, had 24 points, dumped in 4 3-pointers in the ball game, and had a chance to hit 2 free throws right before he got subbed late in the fourth. 2 for 2 on the line. In fact, he kind of spread out his scoring. He didn't score in the first quarter, but he had 2 threes in the second, 1 tray in the third, and 1 tray in the fourth. So some nice balanced tray shots for the guard, Lyric Soria.
Exactly, and some of those shots that he was taking, it was amazing how he would just line it up and shoot it. It wasn't even a second hesitation, which is always good. Made sure that there was nobody around him. Once he saw that he was alone and undefended, he took the shot, and more times than not, he did make it. It didn't look like it was going to be, but yeah, his shots are perfect, and it just gets better with each and every game in this season.
So Soria, the leader in scoring for the Hobbs Eagles. Second place, getting very close. Malachi David, he had 21 points, had the 14 rebounds, so led the team on the glass in this one. and was 1 of 2 from the charity stripe. In fact, the big man hit 2 trays in this game, 2 of the 8 that the Eagles converted.
Yeah, it was amazing. Once you saw him just line up and try to shoot for a 3, you're like, wow. And then a couple of times he was downtown when he did it, and he made it look pretty easy too. So, again, I don't know if that's going to be his key game, but he is definitely a presence underneath the basket.
Of course, last year he did play a couple of games and got injured, and they just took – I forget what I think it was a knee situation, but they were kind of worried that it would get worse. The doctor told him he probably should hold out, and they ended up keeping him off the rest of the season. So nice to have him back this year. Josiah Clay, third in scoring for the Eagles with 16 points, had 11 rebounds as a guard, really doing a good job of hustling to the ball. Had quite a few free throw attempts in this game as well. He was 7 of 9 from the charity stripe, only missed 2 in the contest, and really doing a great job of scoring for the Eagles. He finished up with 1 tray in the ball game. So those 3 guys who in double digits for the Hobbs Eagles, 61 combined points for David, Soria, and Clay, and a combined 26 rebounds between all 3 of those guys, majority of those from Malachi David and Josiah Clay. Other guys getting in the books, Adarius Proby, he finished with 8, 3 buckets put down in the third quarter for Proby, plus 4 rebounds, so did a great job. He is a starter this year, and definitely was a good cause for the offense for the Hobbs Eagles. 4 points for Josiah Morales coming off the bench, little guard there. Dumped in a 3, a tray in the fourth quarter, and 1 for 2 free throw shooting. A good little spark plug for the Eagles. And a whole host of guys with a bucket apiece. Jadarius Lowe with 2 points, but 7 rebounds. And that kid's a guard as well, but aggressive on the glass and is not going to give up easily, even though he's not a post player. Jeremiah Torres had a bucket and 2 points and a rebound. Jaden Perez had a bucket late in the game and a rebound. And Israel Rodriguez with a bucket and 4 rebounds. Really like to see Rodriguez, kind of a lanky kid out there, and one that's going to go crash in the glass and get to the other end as well for the offense. So I'm glad to see some players coming off the bench that are helping out the cause. The Eagles got a total of 10 players in the scorebook, which is a big-time advantage against the 6 that scored for the Brownfield Cubs. Eagles 11 of 15 from the charity stripe for 73%. They have the same amount of turnovers as Brownfield, 9 versus 9. And again, complete domination on the glass, 48-17 unofficially in terms of rebounds in the game. And their biggest margin was the final 37 points, which was a mercy roll for the Hobbs Eagles in their first win.
Exactly. It did get there towards the end of the game. But, you know, what really helps is the fact that you hold your opponent to 10 points in the first quarter, 11 in the second, giving them 21 points for the halftime. Meanwhile, you're scoring 16. So you're consistent on that, 16 each. But they did better in the second half, which was great. 49 total points is what Hobbs did in the whole thing, 22 in the third and 27 in the fourth, while holding Brownfield to 10, and then the 13 points in the fourth, which was their big high for the game. But by that time, it was already too late. They couldn't get back into this game. They were just trying to keep above water, and they couldn't even do that as well. As you mentioned, they went below 35 points towards the end of this game. So Brownfield still looks good as far as Texas style, but Hobbs comes in once again, dominates them. And I think the other thing that helped a lot against this Brownfield team was the fact that they were keeping a lot of their players in there longer than they probably should have. They weren't getting any fresh players in to rotate to get them some experience as well. And I think that Brownfield may have to work on that as well, but that is their game. Hobbs, on the other hand, they've got some key players, and they're not just relying on 1 or 2 anymore. They're relying on their defense as well as their offense to be able to go out there and play consistent.
Should mention, too, that the Eagles giving up the same amount of points to Brownfield that Estacado gave up. Estacado beating them a few days ago, 70-44, and Hobbs winning tonight, 81-44. Well, you got both games tomorrow, Ron, here at Task Arena. It's a doubleheader of the girls and the boys, both playing Sandia. What game times do we have? And getting excited for those games tomorrow.
Well, 3 o'clock is what it's going to be start for the tip-off for the Lady Eagles, and then after that, probably around 5:30 roughly, depending on how fast. And, you know, Sandia is not an easy team to beat for these Hobbs Lady Eagles, and it's going to be a good one. And so should the second game as well, as the Matadors, both the Lady Matadors and the Matadors, face your Hobbs Eagles. But the first one definitely at 3 o'clock, and around 5:40, 5:45 maybe for the second game. Hard to say, though. Depends on when the first game ends.
And, of course, those games will be on the internet, HobbsAmerica.com, the YouTube Hobbs Sports page. And we have to wait and see how the football is going to overlap with the basketball right now. We'll have to hopefully get everything on that we can in terms of that. But still, we do need to mention football as well. The Hobbs Eagles, for the first time in the semis since 1981. That was the year they also went to the championship against Clovis. Unfortunately, lost that one. But
right.
44 years ago, as the Hobbs Eagles will take on the number 2 team in the state, Cleveland. The Cleveland Storm have 3 games in 50-point range this season, 6 games in the 40s. They lost one to Las Cruces 38-34 and beat Cibola 27-6. The only other 2 games outside the 50s or the 40s. So perennial team. They usually have about 5 or 6 Division I players. The same thing going on this year. They were 5-0 in district. Outscored their opponents this season 507 to 136. So they're averaging 46 points a game for the season, 12.4 given up to their opponent. So Hobbs has got to come out quickly. They've been kind of slow starts against Carlsbad. Their last game last week for the quarterfinals and the last game of the district schedule. But Hobbs returned the favor after letting Carlsbad come out quicker, and then they kind of turned the screws at that point. But the Eagles cannot wait to second, third quarters in this game against Cleveland. The Storm, number 2 ranked. Of course, Las Cruces, number 1, is in the other semifinal, but Eagles have been the Storm several years. I know you mentioned this early in the pregame show.
Right.
Go ahead and tell us about the combination between these 2 teams.
So with Cleveland, you've come out and they are strong on both offense and defense. Hobbs is good on both sides as well. That's what they're going to need to do to get this Storm to be able to get stopped. Once they can do that, I think Hobbs can come in and play. Madrano needs to work on his passes. I saw him last week against Carlsbad, in fact 2 weeks in a row, where his passes just weren't quite hitting the mark. In fact, they looked like they were trying to go for the whole kit and caboodle, the big chilada, and instead he just could not hit his players. If he can do that, I think that it would have been a bigger scoring game. But that's one of the things Madrano has to work on, is throwing as far as hitting his receivers. And the defense, they looked great last week against Carlsbad. There was moments of time when they could not stop Carlsbad, but overall they slowed it down and stopped them when they needed to. And I think they can do that again against this Storm team.
And was that record with Hobbs and Cleveland?
Yeah, it is. So the last 8 games, Hobbs has not been able to beat them. 0-8 is the record. They want to get to 1-8 in this one. We thought in 2017 they were going to be able to get a good victory against this team, especially when Hobbs had a high octane fueling offense that could go out there and pass and just get through these quarterback or defenses. But unfortunately, that didn't happen that year either. So 0-8 against Cleveland. The odds are stacked against them. They're on the road and they're in the playoffs in a cool, or not probably going to be a cold,
52.
Rio Rancho team. And so it's going to be a Rio Rancho area, and it's going to be interesting to see just how it's going to pan out. And if Hobbs can keep it close in the first half, I think they've got a good chance, although they did against Las Cruces, and they lost it in the second half because of bad field position. So that's another thing that Hobbs needs to avoid, bad field position and bad turnovers and bad play makes.
Last week, Cleveland beat Volcano Vista 42-0 in the quarterfinals. The total yardage, 437 for the Storm and 77 for Volcano Vista. That's not the numbers the Hobbs wants to see, and I think we got the people that they got to do the job. Madrano, of course, quarterback, running the football too, and you got Beatty at receiver, Justice French, and you got so many running backs that they have on this team this year. Hill and of course, Wright, and a couple other guys that step up in key situations, and then the defense too. Linebackers, though, are kind of getting hurt. We got a lot of guys that are going to be sidelined for this game. Hopefully going to get Blackman back as a sub that's been out for a few weeks, came in that Clovis game and had some good games, but then now has been hurt. So we'll cross our fingers on that. Don't forget tomorrow, that's the semifinals. Winner goes to the championship Thanksgiving weekend. That will be in Rio Rancho against Cleveland, number 2 team in the state. Eagles at number 3. Tomorrow, 12:45 pregame, and the kickoff at 1 o'clock. Myself and Sovereign Anthony will be on that one. Don't forget tomorrow as well. It'll be Ron Gunner with you. 3 o'clock for you?
3 o'clock, yes.
3 o'clock for the Lady Eagles against Sandia, and the boys to follow against Sandia as well. So a loaded Saturday for Hobbs sports, boys and girls, but football first, and then we'll get some hoops again with the Hobbs Eagles 1-0 and Hobbs Lady Eagles getting their first game of the season.
Exactly, and it should be very exciting. You talked to Coach Carpenter here just a moment ago, and just the fact that he is excited about the season again. He has been a coach for years, both for Roswell as well as for Hobbs. And I love the fact that every year he gets excited about this and just can't wait to get it started. He said, Yeah, talk to me in January, February, and that's where the games count, and I'm sure it does. But right now, he's excited about the game starting.
Got somebody special doing our camera tonight, Ron.
Exactly. My brother, Jer Bear here, is looking to see what he can do. He's going to be helping me tomorrow as well for the game as we cover both the boys and girls, or girls first, then the boys.
Thanks again to Allison Friend, Jessica Friend on our scoring tonight. The scoreboard, Ron Gunner on color, myself, Ty Friend. Final score from Tasker Arena. Your Hobbs Eagles are 1-0, 81-44 over Brownfield. Again, don't forget tomorrow we got 12:45 for football. HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, Colt 95.7 Facebook page, and Colt 95.7 radio. And on the internet only on the basketball 3, and then after that for the girls and the boys on HobbsAmerica.com and YouTube, Colt 95.7 Facebook page. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Have a great weekend out there, and go Eagles tomorrow.